Wake the God that sleeps in me. 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 I put my life in your divine hands so I can know who I am. This is a brand new day, so talk to me about holiness. Wake the God that sleeps in me. 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 As I rise up from the ashes of what I once was, I come to you for answers. I come to you for love. Wake the God that sleeps in me. 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 Oh, okay. Oh, so we weren't on that.
First one. Yeah, let's do the first one.
Yeah.
We'll have a little sound ready. But Craig, we're still gonna start with a little song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should.
That's no problem.
Oh, good.
People get ready. There's a train a-coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and border. There's hope for all who love the most. People get ready to the train to Jordan. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. Don't need no ticket, open the doors and border. There's hope for all who love the most. People get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and border. There's hope for all who love the most. One love, one heart. Let's get together now and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we're gonna feel alright. People get ready. There's a train a-coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and border. There's hope for all who love the most. People get ready. There's a train a-coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hilltop Spiritual Center. Thank you for that, Sonny Lee. Is that sort of an original you morphed some Bob Marley into, or?
Neither.
Neither.
It's Curtis Mayfield original, and Bob Marley borrowed some of it for the One Love song.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's where his song came from.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Okay.
So yes, as I said, welcome. I'm Craig Lozzi. I am always honored and so happy to be a practitioner in service today. And let's begin just by arriving, whatever that means or looks like for you. I know for me, I've had a lot already happening this morning, so if we just take a moment to center ourselves and bring in that breath of life, so available just by inhaling in and just releasing, just knowing that as we breathe in and out, we are just opening ourselves up literally, physically to life. And so we come really to open ourselves up to that one life that is breathing us, that which is just so generous and graceful, so intelligent and beautiful, just reflected all around in the nature of just the stillness and the freshness of winter, and reflected in this feeling we have, the warmth I felt in this room of a collective community, just welcoming and being love. So that divine spirit of love, absolutely, we're breathing all of this good in, for this one life is only good, and it is present here now as it is ever present everywhere. So we just breathe that truth in, and then we realize just the evidence that we are alive is a demonstration that we're desired, that somehow we are the beloved of the beloved, that we have been created to be purposeful, to have meaning, to feel the beauty and strength of spirit in us, and to share it and to bless each other. And so just knowing then that this gathering is simply that. It's just a blessing of spirit, the words of Reverend Angela, the music of Sonny and Lee, this feeling of warmth, that is just the love of gathering. This is what is transforming, and I know that each of us feel that, participate in that, are awakened even to a greater experience of our connection with each other, with spirit. And for this, I am grateful and give thanks. So it is. So it is. This month, the theme this year, as Reverend Guy said last week, is living a life that matters. And I chose a poem which is sort of interesting. It's the same poem I chose about 5 or 6 weeks ago when I was up here, and I deliberated over it, but sometimes there's many facets to a truth, and so I think it really applies this month, this week as well. And it's from an Indian mystic saint poet named Kabir, entitled "Hope for the Guest While You Are Alive." The guest being God, but I was thinking also the guest could be how we inhabit our purpose, how we make our lives matter. And you'll see the poet is just really inviting us to get engaged with our life and not rely so much on the props of different belief systems or things like that, but to really go deep into ourselves. Anything else to say about this poem? I think the poem will say the rest. So, hope for the guests while you're alive. And when he starts, he says, friend, obviously that's us. So it goes like this. Friend, Hope for the guest while you are alive. Jump into experience while you are alive. Think and think while you are alive. This thing you call salvation belongs to the time before death. If you don't cut your ropes while you are alive, do you think ghosts will do it after? The whole idea that the soul unites with the ecstatic just because the body's rotten, that's all fantasy. What is found now is found then. If you find nothing while you are alive, you will simply end up with an apartment in the city of death. If you make love with the divine now, in the next life you will wear the face of satisfied desire. So plunge into the truth. Find out who the teacher is. Believe in the great sound. Kabir says this: when searching for the guest, it is the intensity of the longing that does all the work. Look at me, and you will see a slave to that intensity. So we'll take a few moments now to contemplate these words and this idea of making our lives matter. You'll hear the bowl just as an invitation to go within, and then the second time you hear it, it's just an invitation to come back. So you are invited to slowly and gracefully bring your awareness back to this room and back to the truth that your life matters and that we honor how each and every life matters. So it is.
There's a light turned on inside me, a feeling so fine. It happened the day you found me, alone and wasting time. But your love changed my direction. Now my heart can feel your peace, and my joy, it keeps on growing. Now that you're guiding me, I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. 'Cause I feel you deep inside of me. You're with me all the time, giving guidance and protection. Ooh, how my life does shine. I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. You got me standing on my own, feeling so good inside. My courage and my faith, it grows. And the love I feel from you has made me realize I never could have come this far on my own. I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. 'Cause I feel you deep inside of me. Now you're with me all the time, giving guidance and protection. Ooh, how my life does shine. I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. The light turned on inside me, feeling so fine. It happened the day you found me, sitting around and wasting time. And your love changed my direction. Now this heart can feel your peace, and my joy, it keeps on growing. Now that you're in me, I can make it from here. I can make it, Lord, from here. I can make it from here.
That's Sonny. And please welcome Reverend Angela.
Tiptoe back over here to my proper side. That's so beautiful, and with your accompanying it, Lee, I've never heard it accompanied. It really added to it. Heard that song so many times, right? Aren't they awesome, our boys? What to say, how to be, right? I know you as a community are mourning. I've had a couple of beloved members make their transition. And I know that we're all feeling the effects of the fires and all that's going on there. So let's take a breath. So many opportunities to practice standing in the truth of who we are, right? A couple of you have heard this story before, but as Sonny was singing, I felt called to share it. I wasn't going to. It's a story of a master and an apprentice, and the master was really tired of the apprentice complaining all the time. And so one day, the apprentice came in complaining, and the master asked him to go and get some salt, and then take a handful of salt and put it into a glass of water. And then he asked him to drink it. And he said, "How did it taste?" And he said, "Bitter." And so then he said, "Okay, let's take the salt. We're going to the lake." And they walked in silence together to the lake. And he said to the apprentice, "Take the same handful of salt and put it in the lake." And then he asked him to drink from the lake. And he said, "How did it taste?" And he said, "Fresh." And at that, the master took the apprentice he took his hands, put his hands on his shoulders and kind of laughed. This young man reminded him of himself, before he was more enlightened. And he said, "The salt is like pain. The pain is there. The amount of pain is always the same. It's the container that we hold the pain in that determines, how much we feel it, or the container that we hold the pain in helps us deal with the pain. So when we hold our pain, our fear, our doubt in a small, tight glass, and there's nothing else but it, it's bitter. It's overwhelming. It can be challenging and hard and all those things. Take a breath. But the beauty of us beings is we have divinity within us. We have a light and a love and a courage and a strength that helps us make it from there. And when we can surround our pain with that truth of spirit, it's less bitter. It has a bigger container. So I think these times are calling us to keep expanding our container. Because when these things happen, it's natural for us to contract. Fear is natural. Sadness, grieving, all of those things are natural parts of being human. And we can't get stuck in them. And even in the midst of them, we need to know there's a beautiful lake of spirit that's expansive and wide and that holds us all. Greg Braden says, there's something so precious something inside of us that can't be separated from anything that's happening outside. It's so vital, so precious. And he calls it divinity. And the definition he gives of divinity is the ability to transcend perceived limitations, to become more than our perceived limits. And divinity gives us creativity. imagination, innovation, empathy, love, forgiveness. That's the divine qualities within all of us. And we are hardwired for that. We certainly are. And I think, you know, that old battle that they've talked about for eons of the battle between good and evil. To me, it's love or fear. That ebbs and flows throughout the centuries, right? And it may feel like the fear or the dark side, or we could say the battle between the light and the dark. And we could say the dark is kind of up right now, maybe. Take a breath. And so this can be an opportunity for practicing. To me, a life that matters is a life that loves deeply and unconditionally, is a life that can see and be beyond the perceived limitations, a life that matters, walks as you all do and we all do, in sacred community together, in unity consciousness. That's a life that matters. And we find where we find our power, you know, our divinity is the power within us. We know that, right? The founder of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, there's a power and a presence and a greatness within us far bigger than any of our challenges and concerns. And that power, the power of the divinity, lives in our body. It lives on a cellular level. Know ye not that your body is the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwells within you? From the Corinthians. It's in our body. Patterns in our, patterns in our DNA. And those of you who love Greg Braden, he's great for all of this because he's a scientist and he's, you know, very smart and educated and very spiritual. But, you know, he talks about these DNA that deep in our DNA is sort of that what Gene Houston calls the God seed, right? That we've been programmed and that these patterns have been decoded and we carry a message in us. And that message was given the first time the first of us, human species, stepped into the world. It's always been there in our DNA. And so really, we don't really know who, what. I would say infinite intelligence, divine source, gave us those mutations that made divinity possible. It's a scientific fact that spirit's within us. The answer is encoded in every cell of our being. And the message is we are the temple, the Spirit of God itself. We are the temple, the Spirit of God itself. And when I think of a temple, I think of an inner sanctum, right? The Holy of Holies, something deep, mystical, sacred within us. And we have 50 trillion holies of holies within us, cells, ready to be woken up. And I think what's happening at this time in our planet is there's more downloads happening. Our cells are literally changing right now. And so we are just awakening more and more to that which is already inherent in us. It's already there. And the more we drop what stands in the way of us being the divinity we're born to be, the more alive those cells become. Let's take a breath, everybody. Feeling a little breath withhold in the room. Couple of deep breaths. See, that's what we do. We hold our breath, and that's a way to brace against life, to protect ourselves. And it's not wrong, but it's not in our greatest well-being. So keep the breath going. Breathe in. Breathe out. It's okay. We're safe. We can breathe. We're here together in sacred community. We're practicing together. There's only love here in this moment. And there's love if you're grieving deeply right now, as I know some of you are. There's love if you're scared. There's love if family and friends have been affected by fires. There's love if you're feeling depressed and overwhelmed and scared. There's love here. And there's love if you're in joy and peace and celebration. There's only love here. So with this ancient battle, so to speak, of love or fear, or, we might say good and evil, right? Light or dark. We don't want to try and win anything, because winning is like force to force. It's more conflict driven. We want to triumph. That's what we want to do during these times. We want to triumph. We want to rise up. And how do we triumph? We live the best version of ourselves. We live a life that matters. We stay connected to the divine I am that is within us. We love without fear. We're generous in our forgiving. We have empathy. We're creative. We're innovative. We have empathy and compassion. These are all expressions of human divinity. We turn to that again and again. I wanted to read a poem. I will not read it as beautifully and wonderfully as Craig read. Not even read his poem. Did you realize? I know all of you here probably know him well, but I'm blown away every time. He remembered every single word and delivers it so beautifully. So, thank you. This is from Khalil Gibran. And what is it to work with love? Is it to weave the cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth? Is it to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house? Is it to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as if your beloved were to eat the fruit? Is it to change all things you fashion with a breath of your own spirit, and to know that all the blessed ones are standing about you and watching? So to consciously awaken our hearts and ourselves during this time. Valerie Kaur, who's a Punjabi activist and lawyer and author, talks about, loving bravely and courageously. Can we be brave with our love during these times? Can we be courageous and brave with our love? Can we stand in that? And she said that when her children were born, she really wanted to teach her children about love. And she realized she didn't need to teach them. They already knew, because we're thirsty for love. They came in with that. And she practiced this beautiful, she said she really wanted to teach them from the moment they were born about love. And so she would practice with them when they went to the park or when they went out and free. She would have them say, you are a part of me that I don't yet know. She would have them say to the tree, to the birds, to the unhoused person, to the even mean-spirited people, you are a part of me that I don't yet know. What a beautiful thing to teach her children. She talks about the sage warrior. I love this expression, the sage warrior, right? So the sage warrior, the warrior fights and the sage loves fiercely. And so, as I said, she asked the question, how do we, first of all, I want to just talk about what she did. If any of you, some of you may or may not know, she put together a bus tour called the Revolutionary Bus Tour. And they went to 45 cities where violence or oppression or acts of racism had taken place. Because she had asked her ancestors, how did you deal with all the hardships? How did you deal with the pain of life and the suffering? And they had talked about the sage warrior, and that they learned to speak from the wound, to be in it, to sit in it, to share it, to speak it. And that they learned that the sage warrior can cultivate the sage inside of us, then find the courage to be in the world. So our own inner warrior leads us in. And she said what she learned from the ancestors was that you can tell we can tell the truth about our suffering and refuse to be defined by it. Both. And that when we do that, we cultivate a sense of freedom inside. And that from that place, they marched, they danced, they acted, they served, they sang. And she says, we practice the world we want in the space between us. As we share our stories together, as the ancestors shared their stories together, as people on the places that they stopped on that bus tour were like the George Floyd Memorial, Birmingham, Alabama, some old site that used to be an auction, an auction of slaves, all those places, 42 cities and spots, and people gathered, and they told their stories, and they sang, and they danced. So they tell their stories, and they refuse to be defined by it. Okay, sorry, I'm getting all... Because it's possible to find that space of joy and freedom and love inside. She says we can build worlds together, reclaim spaces that have seen traumas and crisis and violence, and reclaim them as spaces to heal. They healed, because we all know spaces where tragedy has happened or crisis hold the energy of that. And so what she did by gathering with the people is they shifted things. They shifted the energy in the space, and we know everything is energy, right? They shifted it. And I want to say that this is our own personal inner journey too. Everything starts within us. And so it's to speak our wounds. It's to speak our anger. It's to feel our sorrow. It's to proclaim our outrage at what's going on and not be defined by it. To be the warrior that is maybe called to action. But to certainly, with our own stuff, to be with it. To share it, to seek support for it, and then sing and dance and be joyous. That way we keep expanding into that larger container we talked about in the first place. But we can't skip. We can't pretend there's not sorrow in the world. We can't pretend there isn't racism. We can't pretend that there wasn't slavery. We can't pretend, we can't not talk about it. We can't not talk about our own angst and wounds and stuff. It has to come out. It has to come out, be spoken in safe, sacred space, in community. We practice in the spaces between us or in safe, sacred space in our own inner sanctum. And then we turn to spirit. Well, we're with spirit all the while. But then we turn to the larger truth again and again and again. And so she asked people on these places when they were getting together and talking, when did you experience an act of love that changed everything? What a great question. When did you experience an act of love that changed everything? And she says, do we succumb to our despair and the illusion that we are separate and alone? Or do we dare light our gaze and sing a song of love? Do we join our love with other people? Do we let love make us brave, even though we don't know what's next, just to do the next right thing? Do we let love make us brave? I think it has to be we, to moving into a larger sense of belonging. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. Everything we see out there is a reflection of inside. A larger belonging. And our practice to live a life that matters is to look to where love is possible. Spiritual hope. How would love have me respond? What would love have me do? And we can live into what we can at first imagine. We can really envision what's possible when the heart is disarmed. I think we know that. I experience that. When I'm contracted, my heart is closed, and I'm scared or I'm outraged or whatever, it's hard to see more than that. When my heart is open and I'm breathing in and breathing out, alive, one with life, I can see a vision. I can know that this is, yes, the dark night of the soul, that this is Shiva, destroyer energy that's happening right now. And Shiva only destroys so that more light can come. That in order for there to be order and love and light, anything unlike it has to be destroyed. So we can hang tight. And have we forgotten about breathing, I wonder? It's not enough to suffer. We have to touch joy and peace. We have to celebrate. We have to. And we have to be embodied. We have to bring it into the body. And both Valerie Kaur and Greg Braden, interestingly enough, talk about how important it is to bring it into the body, to breathe, to dance, to sing, to do yoga, tai chi, exercise, be in nature, whatever those things are for us that get us embodied in our body deeply, because our body is the temple of spirit. Cells in our body. And not to allow what's going on in the world to be a diversion. To see it, can we see it as a joyous opportunity to be a better version of ourselves or a higher version of ourselves? What are we being called to right now? How do we respond? And Greg Braden's asked, what do we become in the presence of all we're being shown in the world? What do we allow the events of the world to make us into? We can go into our survival brain, and we do, I do, I can't speak for all of you, most of the people I know do. We go into those primal instincts, fear, revenge, hatred, separation, right? All of those things. Suspicion. Or we can become higher. We can claim the love and the light and the freedom and the peace, living the truth of our divinity, the best versions of ourselves. From Greg Braden, suggests this meditation practice. My heart, what do you need from me right now? To just sit and be with that question, to listen, and then to ask, do I love myself enough to accept the power and responsibility to live my divinity? My heart, what is the ancient wound I have come to this place to heal, to empower my divinity? And as we sit with that, the answers we get are where our inner work is. What is ours to heal? What is it our heart is really wanting? There's something inside of us so powerful, so precious, and so beautiful, vital and alive, within all beings everywhere. It's what connects us and unites us. So when we're feeling powerless, when we're feeling challenged, we can ask, how does God, Spirit, eternal in the body, deal with this? Deal with this. Emma Curtis Hopkins talks about looking up. Look up. A higher thought, a higher frequency. We don't deny our wound, our pain, our sorrow, or whatever, and we look up. And the moment we look up, the container all around us has expanded and gotten bigger, beyond perceived limitations. We look up into a frequency of love and freedom and joy and peace and divine right order. And we look within. What's blocking me right now? I'm going to end with another poem. I guess it's poetry morning here. This is by Dana Falls, Just for Now. And you can close your eyes maybe and take some deep breaths. Let all that sink in. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you, and the infinite expanse of the sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free, with awakened energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are. So fully alive that the world looks different, newly born and vibrant, just for now. So just for now, we breathe in the grace of Spirit that washes over us in our times of need. Just for now, we recognize the one love, the one heart that unifies and connects, that protects and supports. Just for now, we recognize that this is the light of Spirit shining forth as all of creation. Just for now, we recognize it, beating our heart, breathing our breath, in our very DNA, the God seed, the 50 trillion holies of holies within us. We recognize ourselves as that divinity, beyond it all, greater than it all. And so we tend to our own suffering and sorrows with loving compassion and kindness. And we tend to the collective and world sorrows with the same. And we keep looking up to the higher frequency. We keep breathing deeply. We keep communing. We practice in the space between us. We keep holding tight to each other. We keep loving bravely, loving courageously, loving unconditionally. We open our hearts to love. We live a life that matters, a life of unity and a life of love. And we love ourselves deeply, and we practice. And I'm so grateful that just for now we can be. Just for now we can breathe together. We can be together. Just for now we hold a container for what's going on with each and every one of us in this room. We're safe in sacred community, walking through it all. The highs, the lows, the joys, the sorrows, the births, the losses, all of it together. We're in it. And we celebrate the light, the unity, the joy of the divine, surrounding it all, back of it all, and beyond it all. With a grateful heart, I release my word to the very soul of the universe, and I release all of our highest intentions for each other, for our brothers and sisters in LA right now, for the firefighters and responders, all involved in that, and for all places all over the world that are in suffering. We send our love. We love bravely. We have a sage warrior within us, and we're ready. We're ready to triumph. So I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. We can make the mountains rain and make the angels cry. Though the love dove is on the wing and we don't know why. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. You know what? don't like the feeling. And it's on me. So, and since we're family, we're going to start again.
That's a great example of how to
There's
do it.
nothing like doing it right. Okay, and forgive me, but I had to. Because if the groove ain't there, then, yeah. Okay, so, okay. Love is but a song we sing, and fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the love dove is on the wing, and we don't know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. If you hear this song I'm singing, you will understand. You hold the key to love in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people, now smile on your brother. Everybody get together and try to love one another right now. Let's do that again. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we all surely pass. When the one that brought us here returns for us at last, we are only one sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together and try to love one another right now. And try to love one another right now. One more time. Try to love one another right now.
The world agrees. When you hear things like in the world after some truth's been spoken, the world agrees. Jesse Collins Young, was that who that was from?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, 1 out of 2. Oh wow, just for this moment, that's going to stick with me. I really like that because that's all there is this moment. And I also, there are a lot of things to take away, but I also love that part of what would love do? What would love do now? I try to remember that when I don't know what to do. And let's face it, there are times when that's before us. But I do know what would love would do now. This is a time of conscious giving. I know that love would just embody this feeling and say, I'm grateful for the Hilltop Center. I'm grateful for Reverend Angela, for this music, for this coming together, for what this is as a community. So that's the invitation now, is to follow that impulse of love, whatever inspiration or feeling of being uplifted or awakened to a truth that can really, in the day-to-day life, be a practical application. You're being just invited to give back to this community. So for that which you give, we are grateful. It supports us, and we give thanks. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. For I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Happy birthday to you. Okay. My wife has spoken.
Might as well.
Do you have any announcements?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we do. As soon as they come up on that screen, we do. But I do know we have a class coming up with our remote practitioner in Oregon, Sherry Davis, who actually has led a class for us practitioners. She is a really inspired teacher, and I'm lucky to call her a prayer partner too. So that's coming up Tuesday the 28th through March 4th, 6 weeks. She will actually be here next week as the practitioner. So you'll get to, if you haven't met her already, you'll get to meet her then. But classes are really the heart of this place. You can take a message like this and delve into it in a way where you work with it and it can become part of your transformation. So I encourage you to take class with our practitioner Sherry. Okay, Kundalini Yoga, meditation, and sound healing. First one's free. It's Wednesdays, the 8th, 15th, and 22nd of the month. So the 8th and 15th are gone. 22nd's around the corner. Okay, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. So you're invited to do that. And that's it, Ponce. Okay. Thank you.
I love that things don't have to be so perfect and smooth and just finely manicured all the time. Because, I love to think that sometimes God is messy. And when we're being creative and spontaneous and in the moment or whatever, things just happen. So anyway, but with that, we got a little preview. I don't think I'm the only one who was really glad that this amazing being Lee was born, right? Put your hand up if you're glad. So, thank you for being born. There's a card here for you from the community, and let us sing. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lee. Happy birthday to you. We love you a lot. Okay, that's the tag.
Oh, I had to take that in. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, okay.
Beautiful.
What are we doing now? Speaking of everything else. A prayer? A prayer? All right. You are. So nice to be with you all. Thanks for being here. I feel the strength of this community and the strength of your love and care of each other. And we get through all this together. It's been a delight to be with you as always. So let's breathe in. Let's breathe into grateful hearts. Just for now. Just for now. Grateful for this beautiful community. Grateful for Reverend Guy, for all the practitioners, for Andrea, for each and every one of you, all the congregants, members, for Lee, that make this place possible. We practice in the spaces between us. We practice in community. We love bravely and fearlessly as much we can. And we ask, what would love have me do now? So with a grateful heart, I know we leave recognizing perhaps a little bit more who we truly are, that we can truly transcend the perceived limitations. We have a divine intelligence within us greater than it all. So thank you, Spirit, for this sacred time together. Thank you, Spirit, for this day. Thank you, Spirit, for this love, for this joyful celebration. And so it is. So it is. Amen.
One more announcement, too, talking about messy. There'll be a prayer circle, maybe in about 10 minutes after you have a chance to sit down and be with each other. And then you're also invited to request prayer in the prayer box in the back, or you can approach any of us practitioners. I know Terry's here, Liz is here, Andrea's here, I'm here, Reverend Angela. If you need prayer today, we love to pray for you. So we're here to support you. That's what we do. So thank you very much.
God's love keeps lifting us. It keeps on lifting us higher and higher and higher. God's love keeps lifting us. Keeps on lifting us higher and higher and higher. I'm so glad that your arms are around me. You're the one in a million dreams. When you came and put those arms around me, I could stand up tall and face this world again. God's love keeps lifting me, it keeps on lifting me higher and higher and higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher and higher. Once I was so downhearted, disappointment was my only friend. And then you came and put your love around me, and disappointment never showed its face again. Everybody, God's love keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. God's love keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. God's love keeps lifting me, it keeps on lifting me higher and higher and higher.
Sonny.
Thank you. I'm gonna write a dog song for next time. Thank you, everyone, and God bless us.
Thank you, son.
Oh.